That's a nice name. Hi, I'm Lisa Perkins, and I'm the owner of Primal Transformations, and my mission is to help women transform their health, their body, and their life so they can go out and make their ruckus. That's what I do every day, and I am so grateful for the incredible women like Claudia that I've had the joy to work with, and it's just a thrill every single day. So what I would love to talk about today is kind of what makes my business different. So I help women address issues of being overweight, fatigued, brain fogged, hormone imbalanced, those with autoimmune conditions, diabetes, and just a general lack of mojo. I think that's pervasive in our society. I think for a lot of us, we don't even really know what feeling great can feel like. And you know, we're very adaptable creatures, and we just kind of fall into, I guess this is just how it is. Well, I was that way too. And you know, I'm here to tell you that you can feel amazing. You deserve to feel amazing, and I would argue it's your responsibility to feel amazing, because we all in this room and out there, we all have a mission, right? And we need to be our best selves in order to go rock that mission. So that's what I do. So this is my story. Started getting depressed, having GI issues, all kinds of things as a teenager. Had no idea. I grew up on an island in Alaska, so not a lot of fresh food other than salmon, a lot of canned vegetables and processed food and that kind of thing. So as I progressed into my 20s and 30s, things got progressively worse, and I dealt with mood issues, hormone imbalances, fatigue, massive brain fog, joint pain, all kinds of things. And I just kind of band-aided my way through it. Of course, doctors weren't able to give me any answers, gave me antacids and antidepressants. And I know now I did not have a medication deficiency, but at the time that was basically what I was told. So this is me, the end of my 30s, really feeling my worst. I would nap for 3 hours in the afternoon. I felt like I had early onset Alzheimer's. The weight wouldn't go away. My knees hurt all the time. Just really, didn't have any spark left. And again, I thought, well, this is just part of getting older. I'm almost 40, right? So this is me now at 50 and feeling better than I felt really my whole life. And it hasn't been very hard. I started out going on a gluten-free diet, which for me was transformative. Not everyone needs that, but for me that was huge. But it was transitioning to a paleo diet, which is not all that different from a plant-based diet. Honestly, it is largely plant-based with some animal protein thrown in. So it's all about nutrient density. But people ask me all the time, do you work out all the time? Do you only eat a minimal amount of calories? I eat twice as many calories than I used to eat, and I work out very little. But I address, kind of the other issues in my life, joy, connection, purpose, right? I'm not using food to mask other emotions, to give me quick bursts of energy like sugar, that kind of thing. So that's my story. I am a former librarian, so that's what I did. I worked in politics and then I was a librarian. Yeah, so I started transitioning in 2014. I started doing a little bit of coaching on the side. I was working at Wichita State and realized that, this definitely was my passion. Really wanted to be able to help women do what I had done, and realize that it's not about diets, it's not about gimmicks, shakes, fast fixes, supplements, any of that. It's really kind of being gentle and loving ourselves, nourishing ourselves back to health is really what it's about. So that's my story. So this is when I do a consultation with folks, it's really kind of interesting, because there have been a number of times when I have given people the gift of realizing they're not ready to make a change, right? That is so liberating. I'm like, go rock your bad self. Come back when your pain point is high enough and you're ready to look at these things. I think we are conditioned to believe that we should be on a diet, and so we're kind of half-heartedly, trying to make changes, but then what does that do?
Guilt.
Right? Guilt, shame, failure, why isn't this working, nothing ever works for me. The women that I work with, honestly, I am usually people's last rodeo. Claudia was kind of a unique situation because she hadn't dieted before. Most of the women that I work with have tried all the things, right? And they're like, okay, how's this not gonna work? Just tell me, you know? So I tell women when they come to me and they are genuinely ready to go, that you don't have to believe in yourself at the beginning. I don't expect you to. I'm gonna believe in you until you believe in yourself. And it's a pretty neat process. So, you know, only argue for the limitations you wanna keep. And that's true in every area of our life. We are constantly saying, well, that can't work for me, life is too busy, I could never stick to that. Well, you just gave instructions to your brain, right? So we want to, okay, success is earned in 5-minute increments. Be here now. What is your next good choice? You guys just ate an awesome nutrient-dense lunch that will give you stable energy, good energy, keep you full and satisfied if you ate enough. You know, a lot of women, they're like, why do I have cravings? Well, you probably had 200 calories at lunch. So your brain is screaming for food, right? So we have to kind of get past this. We have to decide, do I want to change? And if so, nothing is going to stop me, right? We already know what quitting looks like. Let's see what happens if we just keep going. I always say, if I get interviewed on a podcast, my big thing is there is no wagon. You can't be on the wagon or off the wagon because wagon is a myth. It's we have one choice after another choice after another choice. So what can you do today to start nourishing yourself, feeling the way you want to feel? That's how change happens. We know that as business owners, right? It's what can we do today? So when I'm giving a talk, I always want to set the stage because I think that when we hear something, I know this is true for me, in my brain, I'm always kind of arguing for all the reasons, well, this doesn't apply to me. This can't work for me, my life is too busy, or my husband likes this kind of food. So I think we need to kind of step back sometimes and say, I'm just gonna receive this information and see. I'll see what lands for me and, you know, see what I might experiment with. I mean, I view coaching as a self-experiment, right, Claudia? It's all about being our own N=1 experiment. That's what it is in business, in relationships, all of it. Let's get curious and excited about what is possible. So, you know, we really want to let go of the past. What we did yesterday, what we did 10 minutes ago, only defines what we do now and in the future if we decide it does. If we're going to drag around, you know, the cinder block of shame and failure from the past, then we can, right? Or we can say, I am fresh in this moment. I get to be the person I want to become right now with this choice in this 5 minutes. And to me, that allows us all to take a deep breath and say, it's not about what I can achieve in 3 months or what I can stick to, it's one choice after another. So this, you know, this is about liberating ourselves, like I said in the beginning, so we can make an impact. I don't work with any women that are coming to me because they want to do a fitness competition. That's not who I'm talking to. I'm talking to women just like the women in this room who have a purpose and need to free themselves of brain fog and this drag on their energy, who need to feel their best selves so you can get up and do all the things that you have on your probably Dead Sea Scrolls of a to-do list, right? Right? So that's what this is about. So humor is a big part of my coaching. So letting go of shame. This, to me, could summarize my business. If I could only choose one meme, it's the secret sauce is start living now. Put the shorts on, wear the swimsuit, be you, get out there, find ways to move that you love, do you now. You are worthy now, we are worthy now. And most of us have stories about ourselves, you know, that don't align with that. We have to get clear on what those are so that we can call BS on them, right? I mean, I definitely drug all of that into my present as well, but I have daughters too. I do not want to pass this nonsense on, right? And I think a lot of you would agree with that, right? And it's our responsibility to wear whatever we want because we are modeling that behavior for our sons, our daughters, you know, the people around us. So humor self-compassion, patience, a good perspective on what's genuinely hard in this world is helpful, right? None of us are refugees. Most of us can pay our bills, right? When it comes to, well, you know, why do these folks get to eat pizza and feel good? I don't know. Eyes on your own plate, right? So we have to have some perspective on, you know, I love that quote that life is just one big opportunity to get over yourself. Right? And I know my inner drama queen wants to flail around when something feels hard. Oh, this is too much, I'm overwhelmed. It's like, okay, Lisa, what can you do today, in this hour, in this 5 minutes? It's not what I can't do, what I don't feel like I'm ready for. What am I willing and able to do right now to move me in the direction I want to go? Every choice is a chance to move forward. There is no choice that is too small. So when we say, what can this one little thing hurt? Well, because you're out of integrity with yourself, right? So that's not to say be dogmatic, be conscious of your choices. Make choices that liberate you, right? So that's what it's about. So these are the 4 components of my coaching. So we've got the food, exercise, mindset, and lifestyle. All of them matter. They are all important, but I think Claudia would agree that mindset is about 80% of it.
Huge.
Yeah, because it's our perspective on the journey. Our approach predicts our progress. So if we have the mindset of, I'm not quitting, yeah, so maybe I'm not lighting the world on fire today with my choices, but the next hour is a new hour, right? So that is going to make all of these things feel so much easier. It's like, oh, okay, what's my next good choice? Like the food choices, the movement choices, the going to sleep, connecting with others just flows if you've got the right mindset approach, right? So food, we're focusing on nutrient density, focused around protein, veggies, and real food, crowding out processed food. It's not, again, not dogmatic, but just kind of crowding those things to the edges. So, you know, the mindset, I've made that clear. We have to get clear on what we want and why we want it. Exercise, how do you like to move that you don't hate? That's all it's about, right? You don't need a boot camp, you don't need a gym, you don't need anything that anyone tells you you have to do. Just move, right? Lifestyle, we've got to connect with others. We are so often using food for things it wasn't intended for. I tell my clients, if hunger isn't the problem, food is not the solution. How do you know if you're hungry? Does real food sound good? Does an apple sound good? Does a salad sound good? You're hungry, eat some food. No, but you know, some Cheez-Its sound good. Okay, well, there's no shame. I don't care if you do or don't eat the Cheetos. I want you to meet the actual need that triggered that craving. Are you bored, lonely, frustrated, tired, procrastinating?
All of you.
Right. Meet that need. Get on your own team with yourself. We are literally like at cross purposes. You know, we're fighting ourselves. We need to come around the same team, put an arm around ourselves and say, what do you need right now? And in terms of cravings, I mean, yeah, the food we surround ourselves is the food we're likely to eat. So that does make a difference. Okay, I know I'm going to run out of time.
So you're fine. I was just checking to make sure the light is still
Oh,
going.
okay. Yeah, I could go on and on. So
It's riveting.
yeah, thank you. So connection is huge. My clients every week we talk about how are you going to fill your mojo bucket? Where are you going to get joy and connection, downtime, self-care, which that word is kind of a loaded term, but for me, that means puttering around in my garden. I have to create margin in my calendar because it will get sucked up otherwise, right? And I know that's going to allow me to show up and be productive and be excited and positive. Otherwise, I'm just, yeah, it's not going to work. So I'm not going to go into each of these 4, but I figured there might be some questions about the food. So I just want to say, I do keep it really simple, and I think simple strategies are the ones that we will stick to. So if you can think of filling your plate, half your plate with vegetables, some protein, that could be plant-based protein with, you know, beans and rice, combining those amino acids, or high-quality animal protein. Then you've got some starchy vegetables like potatoes and beets and sweet potatoes, that kind of thing. some healthy fats. Then we need some satisfaction on our plate, right? Because if you're eating a healthy meal and you get to the end and you're like, ugh, I'm full, but what's next, right? Right? So we have to sprinkle on the magic fairy dust, whether it's, fresh berries, herbs, bacon bits, whatever. There has to be something in there that makes us get to the end of that meal, push back and go, that was amazing, moving on with my day. So that has to be part of it. And, we're crowding out foods that are devoid of nutrients, right? They're packed with calories, they're available everywhere. Our food environment sets us up to fail, right? So we have to consider ourselves health rebels. We are not buying in to what is available everywhere. And yeah, it requires, preparing yourself, arming yourself a little bit so that your healthiest choice is also your most convenient choice. You have stuff with you, right? So I just wanted to I don't think I have this in presentation mode. That's cute. Does anyone have any questions about that? Because I'm not going to talk too much about the food specifically. So, okay, awesome. All right, so I wanted to talk just a little bit about what is possible, right? Claudia, since she's here, I definitely want to talk about her story, but since we talked about it at the last Lunch and Learn, we'll touch on that a little bit because I'll tell you it is an amazing story. Do any of you know Charity? No. Okay, so Charity is actually the client I've worked with the longest. And, so for the folks, we always see these before and after pictures. We don't know any of the details. We're like, how long did that take? What were their struggles? We have no idea. Well, Charity had a lot of self-limiting beliefs. She had a lot of exceptions and excuses, that, she didn't feel great about. Her, so her journey took a while, but I'll tell you, this woman overhauled her life, her entire life. And it was epic to be a part of. So, this is her before we started working together. This is her officially down 50 pounds, but she probably put on 15 pounds of muscle. So she probably lost 65 pounds, and has kept it off. That's the key. I don't work hard for temporary. This is, when people are done working with me, you're not gonna need another diet, right? You know how to eat, you know what, you're gonna stay in your lane lines, forever. So she is an amazing person. She is so vibrant and excited, starting a business. She is out there rocking her mission now. So she has just been a joy to work with. This next client, I work with clients remotely as well. I have clients all over the country. She is up in Seattle. She works for Amazon, so the last couple days have probably been pretty hectic for her. I've been thinking about April. So April was just amazing, and I just included just a few things. I have testimonials on my website, but I just thought that some of the things she said really summarized how I work with clients. It's really about helping you find the foods you love that love you back, that help you feel amazing. I had sardines for breakfast. I'm not gonna tell somebody else to eat that, right? I love sardines. That's awesome, but so there's no meal plan, but I am gonna help people find what they love, and boy, they got into meal prep. And her husband lost, I think, 25 pounds.
Oh my gosh.
Working, yeah, it was pretty neat. But yeah, she was an absolute joy. It was just really fun. So I meet with clients once a week, and with each of my clients, I have a private Facebook group just between the two of us. So we go back and forth every single day. They journal about all of those 4 things. What are you struggling with? What's happening? I share recipes, whatever that client needs. Like, no 2 Facebook groups are the same. So just wanted to give you a little example. So be a solution seeker is one of the big mantras of my business. We want to put far more energy on the solution than on what feels hard, what feels unattainable. Nope. I am always catching my brain throughout the day. My inner whiner is like, oh, I can't. There's too much to do. Nope. What can I do? I've got 15 minutes. What can I do right now? It's going to move me forward. So it really is about taming drama in our brain. And what's fun is that when you start to think this way, you start to kind of feel like a badass. because this is how confidence, motivation, and momentum are created, right? Motivation does not waft in under the door in the morning, right? Right? It's not like, oh my gosh, I feel so motivated. No, we have to create motivation in our life, and we do that in these small moments when we catch ourselves, and we would have in the past resorted to drama and excuses and limiting beliefs. Oop, back on track. What's next? What's now and what's next? That's all we have to think about, right? And so that's kind of what I wanted to leave you with. These are some of the most common excuses, that come up. And I understand what's interesting is a lot of these there might be some real validity to these things. Sure. But what are you willing and able to do, right? Okay, yeah, this may be hard. This hard thing happened. There's a lot of us that have trauma. I have a lot of trauma in my background. All of that is true, but it's also my responsibility to live my best life now, right? I could put my energy towards blame and, living in the past. That is true, but it's not going to be my story moving forward. That's not going to define me. So I just encourage you, when you hear whatever stories you're telling yourself in the day that you can't get something done or whatever, just to encourage you, is there maybe another truth? Another way that I could look at this, whether it's your food choices, whether it's like, well, I can't get to the gym today, so I can't move. Do you have 10 minutes? We are so black and white in our thinking, and I always say there's like 47 different options between can't and will. What could you walk for 5 minutes? Could you, do 10 body weight squats? Like, there's always something that we can do, and it's just stopping and letting go of, can't and
our idea of
and
perfection.
Our obstacles and our idea of perfection. That's it. I mean, I am most assuredly not perfect, and I don't want to be. Like, I want balance in my life. I want food to be in the lane it deserves, and movement. If I feel like going to the gym, I often go to the gym, but what I do there once I get there, if I haven't slept well, maybe I foam roll. Maybe I stretch. I'm not going to abuse myself. I'm going to be on my own team and listen to what my body needs and trust that when it's able to work out hard, I know I will, right? We don't give ourselves any credit for all of the amazing things that we have overcome and succeeded at. So look in your rearview mirror and go, I've overcome a lot. That should give you confidence. I can keep going. What's one thing I can do today that will make me feel amazing, right? So these are just a few of the amazing women here in Wichita that are on a mission. Worked with a lot of people here locally. Claudia, you've just been such a joy. For those of you who don't know, Claudia came to me with, full-blown diabetes, and she's not even pre-diabetic anymore, and that's in 12 weeks. You lost 18 pounds, right? Yeah. And even more on her own before she started. She'd already started making changes before she started working with me, so she was ready. We hit the ground running. It was pretty dramatic in 12 weeks what you achieved, because you were like, what are we doing, right? And your life was in chaos when we started, right? For anyone else, they would have had a legit reason to say this is not a good time. But we decided, if you can do this now, there'll never be a time you can't do this, right? So
That gave me chills.
That's really good.
Yeah.
That's so good.
yeah, that's what's so amazing, So being the best version of ourselves does not start tomorrow, does not start when life calms down. Is your life ever going to calm down? My guess is that if your life did start to calm down, you would bite off another huge chunk, right? So we cannot wait for that. We have to know this is going to fuel our engine to do and be more, okay? So that's how you want to think about this. Again, it doesn't have to feel hard. It shouldn't feel hard because you won't stick to it. It needs to fit into the context of your actual life. So I encourage you, after you leave here today, to think, what is one small thing that I can do today? Just me. I don't have to tell anybody. This is not a grand announcement of a 12-week plan, right? What is one small thing? Can I make a healthy dinner? Can I pack a lunch for tomorrow? Can I go for a walk around the block? What's one small change that you can make? Once you start to feel comfortable with that change, maybe do that for a week. Okay, now that's just feels easy. Now what's one other little layer? We tend to undervalue the small changes that we can and will stick to and dramatically overvalue these grand plans, right? We'll spend a lot of money on these huge, overhauls that completely tank us and that just lead to another shame spiral, right? So, right? I mean, I think a lot of us, we don't talk about this, but we're all out here in our own little isolated shame caves thinking we are uniquely broken and don't have willpower. No, we've all got the same story, for real, And so it starts with getting honest with ourselves. We don't have to do anything, but we have to get clear. Andrea and I were talking before we recorded about our stories about ourselves. We have to get clear on what those are first. We don't have to do anything at the beginning, right? But we have to get clear on our beliefs about ourselves, right? And we have to seek support where it's necessary, whether that's a therapist, whether that's a business coach. Ask for help. It's literally the bravest thing you can do. I have so much respect for the people who come to me because it's humbling to ask for help. But man, you know this, Jenny. People who seek coaching, you are an empowered, brave human. So we have to let go of, I should be able to figure this out on my own. Have you? Right? I flailed in my business for 2 years before I sought out a business coach because I'm like, I have all the tools. Was I using them? No, I wasn't, because I had all these limiting beliefs about what I was capable of, and nobody wants to listen to me. Who am I, right? So leave here today, think in your minds what's one thing you can do for yourself, and understand it's literally the biggest gift that you can give to your family, to your clients, to your future self, to be the healthiest, best version of you. This is not selfish, right? This is not going to the spa. Not that that's selfish, but, right? This is about you letting go of the shackles of shame and, body shame, body image issues, defeat, past failures. Let it go. That's what I got. So I don't know if there's time for questions. I have no idea how long it went. So
12:40. So
okay.
If you guys are welcome to stay, ask questions, or I know a lot of people sometimes have to run back to work or whatever. I just wanted to say real quick. First of all, that was great. That was fantastic. I'm glad we have it recorded so people can reference again. And everybody who wasn't able to be here in person, I know a lot of people had commented that they wanted to come and that they were going to watch the live. But I find it really fascinating that I think most of the women in this room either have a coach or are a coach, and also could have a coach if you're if you are a coach, which is great. There's so many different areas of life, and also that. The reason you found out about the Hive, Lisa, right, was that you had 3 of your clients that were members here.
Oh, yeah.
And I just love that the Hive is a place that attracts women that are already, like you said, empowered to improve themselves.
Absolutely.
And what a cool testament to what you do and what we do and what you guys are doing. And I just think
we need each other.
Yeah.
We do. And we have to, Claudia and I talk about this a lot, that we have to be more vulnerable with one another and share the things, not just that we've already overcome, but that we're feeling challenged by. Is that a pity party? No, it's not. I'm struggling with sleep right now. I know it's, I'm sure I'm on the cusp of menopause. And so, talking about that, and I learn as much from my clients as they do from me. They're often sharing ideas and strategies and that kind of thing. And we just need to open ourselves up and hold space for other people to do the same. At the same time, we really have to be aware of our language that we're using to ourselves, because many of us are talking to ourselves in our own heads in a way that we would not tolerate for 10 seconds if we heard anyone else speaking that way, right? Again, that is your responsibility to fix that. Literally not stand for it in a way that you wouldn't stand for it externally. So, but we have to shift our language to celebrating all of our small wins in the day. What did I do versus getting to the end of the day and focusing on the things we didn't get done. That is not motivating. Shame motivated no one ever. Right? We have to give ourselves credit for all the amazing things that we do, all the gifts that we're giving the people around us, you know, our kids, our spouse, our family, our clients. Take a deep breath. I mean, we view things as a crisis. There's no crisis, right? Everything is fine. Take a deep breath and, you know, how can we find the joy, balance, connection, and live our purpose? Be our best selves, so.
Thank you so much, Sarah.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you guys for coming, and I am inspired by all of you. I just want you to know that I am so grateful to be a part of this community. I need it. I mean, I work on my own too, and I need to be out here, you know, learning and growing, you know, from and with all of you, and I am grateful. So, thank you.
We've had some cards on the table, guys, so make sure you grab one. And
Yeah, and I'm on Facebook. I have a website, and you know, if you're interested, and I do free consultations. So that's open if you know anybody who, you know, might need some help or just want to have a conversation. So.
Lisa, what would you say looking back when you were, you know, at your worst?
Sure.
What was the one thing that really helped you to get on this journey where you're finding joy and you're finding that positivity to life instead of like,
right.
can't.
Well, I will tell you that we are biochemical creatures. Getting my blood sugar balanced, getting the inflammation down in my body, that was required in the beginning. The food piece was pivotal. Getting gluten out. I learned about gluten from a woman at a garage sale. Not from my doctor, not from anyone else. I ran into a woman and I don't know, we got visiting and she said, have you ever tried this? And I was like, never heard of it. This is in 2010. Within, I would say 2 weeks, like at least 50% of my symptoms were gone. You know, and then I started filling in the gaps, you know, with the vegetables, which I hadn't been eating, and lots of processed junk. So getting my brain function back, I had such terrible brain fog. You cannot have a positive mindset when you can't think clearly. Yeah. So getting some of that burden shifted was required in the beginning. But after that, I started listening to podcasts. I mean, I created some community, even if I didn't have it in person. Found some great podcasts that were inspiring to me. Created a community there. I've been on a lot of podcasts since then. So that's been huge, and just continuing to learn and receive and be humble, and it's just iterated from there, and will never stop learning and growing, and you know, I'm humble and I'm curious. So I know that's a very long answer, but there was, you know.
No, it's good.
Yeah.
Because